Ah, there we have sound, don't we? Hello, everybody. It's the weekly live show, and we are going to talk about burdock root today. And so, hopefully, you can all hear me now. Hello. I know there's a bit of a delay. There we go. Yep, everybody can hear me now. Just had to click on something. I should be able to hear me all right now. All right. So thanks for joining the weekly live show. I will be recording this for my podcast as well. So for the listeners that are going to be hearing this on podcast, I will be sharing some videos or some pictures on the screen. So if you hear me say that and you're listening just to the audio, go to my fullcircleherbals.com website and look under blog, and you'll see the burdock root lesson for the weekly live show. I also put the video recording of this up on my blog, and I also will have the podcast, which is up on iTunes and Spotify. So everybody's jumping in. Hello, we're just getting started. So we're going to be talking about burdock root here. And let me see if I can just share my screen quick so you can see let me just share the entire screen. I'm going to show you a picture of burdock. And that's not what I want to show you. Here we go. Perfect. I can see what's happening. There we are. Check it out. That's burdock. Arctium lapa. That's burdock root that you see here on the screen. This is the flower. It is a purple flower. And I'll show you another picture in a second. But what you can see is these starting to form their barbs, right? So burdock is well known for its ability to cling to fur and to clothes and everything else, and can be kind of mess. So after this flower dries, turns into the seed head, then it's really has a lot of those barbs are dry and they really stick to things. Some of the common names of this plant are also beggar's button, turkey burr seed, gypsy's rhubarb, hardock, herber, and great burdock. So there's many common names out there, and the common name is sort of like the nickname of the plant. And you see right on the screen here the scientific name, which is Arctium lapa. So this is the plant I'm mentioning here. This thing grows all over the world. It's originally started in Eurasia and has made its way over to North America, and is considered kind of weedy and problematic here. And some people, especially since it gets onto people's clothes and animal fur and things like that, it can be hard to get off of our clothes as we walk through it. So we're going to talk about burdock root as part of the medicinal remedy making. There are other parts of the plant that can be used for medicinal purposes, herbal remedies. I'm just going to talk about the root today. So let's check out one other picture, which is here. This is the leaves of the plant. It does have a look of rhubarb in some ways. It grows out of the ground. The leaves grow out of the ground like rhubarb does. And it will grow in just about any sort of area as long as it's well drained and also has sun. It grows in USDA hardiness zones from about 4 to 10, maybe even 3. So those are basically the numbers indicate how cold it can be for a plant that it gets, and if the plant can live there. So a range of like 4 through 10 is a huge range. It's most of the United States of America, and so it can grow all over the place. All right, so this is what it looks like in its first year of growth, and this is when we would harvest the root. So it is a biennial, which means the first year it's basically root and leaf growth. And then the second year, it will send up a stalk with its flower. And that stalk and flower, can get up to 6 feet tall. It's a fairly big plant. The best time to get the roots are in the first year. Around the autumn time, the fall time is best. And the roots are very deep. They can be 1-2 feet deep at least. And so they can be very, very deep. All right. So what do we use this for? Well, the root is very nutritive. It goes deep into the soil, and it's going to be able to uptake all those other nutrients that other plants don't get to. Most plants are growing in about the 6-inch layer depth of the soil. And so they don't get all the minerals and nutrients that may be further down in the soil. So burdock can bring up those nutrients and minerals and things, and it actually is very high in iron and extremely high in inulin, 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 that prebiotic substance that we need in our bodies. And the more inulin we can get into our systems in a day, the better our the microbiome of our intestinal tract and things are able to feed the good microbiome that's living there. So we hear a lot about in our food system, about yogurt and kefir and all those things that have probiotics in it, and how that can really help our gastrointestinal system. And we're learning all sorts of things about that whole gut biome and how it really helps our immunity, can help us reduce anxiety, helps with weight management, and all sorts of things are happening in that gut biome. And so the prebiotic that we need to help feed all those good things that we want to live in our system, one of them is inulin, which can be found in chicory root, in this burdock root and dandelion root. So they're in the roots quite a bit. Burdock is also called gobo, G-O-B-O, and is found in Oriental markets because in some places in the Asian areas, they eat burdock root, just as one of their root vegetables. So it can be eaten raw. People usually chop it up like a carrot. It looks much like a carrot when it's harvested out of the ground. And you can chop it up raw and add it to a salad. You can cook it up into stir fries. It can be roasted like root vegetables are. You can mix it with carrots and potatoes and rutabagas and any way that you roast it. So it can be eaten in a wide variety of ways, and it can also be made into teas and tinctures. So this is one of those herbs that is like a food herb. So you can get the benefits of this plant into our bodies in multiple ways, and it can be eaten on a regular basis. So some of the reasons why people would want to be getting this into their system on a regular basis is it's known as a blood tonic. So since it really helps the system of the intestinal tract and of the kidneys. It's known as a blood tonic to help with that whole system and to support that system, especially since it has iron. It's added to tea mixes that are helping with anemia and other things, other blood kind of like disorders and things that need to support the regular functioning of our blood system. And it's also very lubricating because when I make inulin tincture or burdock tincture, I can actually see a layer of the inulin. It has so much of it in there. And all of the other plant properties that are in there are very moistening to our system. So somebody who has a very dry system, one of the things that would indicate a dry system is like eczema. Another indication would be constipation. And anything like dandruff, anything that's any dry type situations that somebody has in their body, burdock root teas and tinctures and eating of it could help all of those things over time, as using it as like a tonic. And tonic means taking something over a longer period of time. And it also is been known to help people and adolescents with acne, because of this whole idea that helping to support the blood system, sometimes the word cleanse the system, help detoxify the system. And there's a lot going on in the body with like the acne issues. And in traditional Chinese medicine, they look at working on things like the kidneys and the livers to help support the blood, the hormones, all the things that are happening with people in adolescence, and as their bodies go through quite a bit of change, and that acne starts to be a manifestation of things that need to come out of the body. So burdock root is something that is also been known to assist people with acne problems, with eczema problems, skin disorders of the type. So it's really has this good moistening type quality. It helps to promote the absorption of fats and oils in the small intestines, especially if somebody has a very high meat consumption diet, can help with that. And it helps with poor secretion of bile. So those are a number of ways that burdock is why it's used, and then you can see, how it's used. So how do we harvest this? I want to show you one more picture here. And what it is, let's see here. Let me just find it. So here's the picture that you probably see right now. And this is a type of shovel that can help as people harvest the root. So this really deep shovel, it's got some saw-like looking thing on it. But let me go back here. I'm gonna stop sharing. So when you harvest burdock root in its first year, it's going to be down quite deep. And the best way to do is not to stick your shovel in next to the plant and then try to, dig it out like that. Most people stick their shovel in and kind of prop it out. You're going to have to probably dig a little bit of a trench next to the burdock root, the burdock plant, and dig down until you can see how far that root system goes. Once you find that, then you can try to prop it out, or maybe keep digging like a trench around it to pull it out so you don't break the roots, because once you break that root off, it can be even harder to find the rest of it. So if you're going to go through all that trouble to dig out a burdock root, get as much of it as you possibly can. If you wait until the second year to harvest it, it might be a little bit woody in the middle or hollow, because it's sending all of its nutrients and resources up to the flower stalk. So definitely get that root before it goes into flower, because then it's the best nutrients that you can get into the root. And usually as the plant is bringing its resources down to the root into dormancy season is a really good time to be harvesting roots. And then you're going to have to wash it up good and get all the dirt out, and then you can either dry it the way roots are dried, herbal roots, or like I said, you can eat it raw as well, or cook it. All right. I'm just looking at some of the comments here quickly. Yeah, and one of the ways to identifying if you have burdock root, there's certainly other plants out there that look like burdock root, but when you dig them up, they're going to look a little different. Like yellow dock will have a very yellow roots system. But what you can do as you're learning to identify burdock root in the wild is let a plant go to its second year, let it go to flower and then to seed, so that you can identify properly that you have the right one. Because the flower is one of the identification features, is very distinctive and can help with that identification process. More likely than not, if you have had one burdock plant there, you're going to have another one. So it's most likely going to reseed itself. If you leave that flower head and the seed, let it go to seed, you'll find another next year. So, once there's one, there's probably another one. Can you grow it in a bag container, like a potato sack, with the root flap to check it, or is it too big for the container? You probably could. I've never done it, but I would think that you could definitely grow it in a container. You just want it to be, you know, like the potato containers are pretty deep, and it's only going to grow as deep as it has space to grow. So either way, you will get a root at some point. Best cleaning method of the root, just soak and scrub the dirt off? Yeah, that's a good question. You can soak it. You can take a high pressure hose nozzle if you have something like that and spray it off first outside and really pressurize that dirt off if you want to. You'll get kind of the root won't be completely like a tap root like we see carrots, you know, nice long carrot that we get in the store. It may branch off into some other roots parts, and so you might want to just chop those off or break those off, because there's going to be dirt like in the basically the crotch of the roots where they join, and sometimes that can be hard to get out. But then once you have them inside, you can use like a potato scrubber if you have one. Sometimes if there's if it's really hard to clean stuff off, you could scrape off some of the problem areas with like a potato peeler. I've done that before, but we want to keep some of the root epidermis, the outer layer, on, because it does have some, you know, properties and nutrients that we do want as well. Okay. Oh, gobo boxes. All right. I'm going to look up gobo boxes. Cool, Amber. Just checking for questions here. Yeah, and like I said, there's other things that you can use burdock for. The leaves have some purposes, the seeds as well. I'm just focusing on the root system right now. And so you can buy it in tincture form. You can buy it already dried and chopped for you if you're not somebody who, you know, wants to go out and find burdock root or grow it for yourself. You know, not all takes time. So if you're looking to have burdock root in your wellness plan right now, you can certainly go and purchase those out there. Like I said, some people have grocery stores in their areas that carry burdock root. I can find it sometimes here in my area, but there's certainly many places online. Mountain Rose Herbs has definitely has the tinctures and the dried root. And in fact, I have a link that I can share with you from Mountain Rose Herbs as a referral link that I have now with them. So an affiliate link. So if you purchase from them, then I get a 10% of the profits from that. So I will be sharing my Mountain Rose Herbs link with you if you want to purchase through them. But there's certainly other places that also do that, that you can purchase from. Check at your local area to see if anybody's growing it. That's always nice to support local growers as well. All right. Yeah. Okay. Just checking the comments there. All right, everybody. So that is, oh, any place that sells seeds. I would look with strictly medicinal seeds. They have quite a wide variety of medicinal herbs because that's what they specialize in. So strictly medicinal seeds. They're online. You can definitely find them. Let's see. What do I have coming up here? I will be doing another Plant Priestess Exploration workshop starting February 8th. So if you're watching me in the Plant Priestess Exploration Facebook group, you're all set. You're already in there. That's usually where we have all of our interaction for that workshop. And I also stream it into YouTube and on my fullcircleherbals.com website as well. But if you want to be in there interacting with us and get all the links for the giveaways that I provide, then the Plant Priestess Exploration Facebook group is a good place to be. So I'm going to start that on the 8th and start another 4-day Plant Priestess Exploration workshop. And for many of you who've already been through one, I always add something a little bit different to it. And some people only get through 1 or 2 days. And every time they join, they get a little bit further. And then I always do 5 days of bonus materials, and we do giveaway prizes as well. So get into the Facebook group, Plant Priestess Exploration, and I will be putting up a link for how to register for that workshop on the 8th, so you can get reminders and email and everything like that. All right, so February 8th, another Plant Priestess Exploration workshop. And I'll share my Mountain Rose herb link with you all as well if you're interested in using that link. So thanks for joining, everybody. I hope you learned a little something about burdock root today, and I'll be back Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time each week. Bye-bye.